vanity, destruction of the poor is poverty. The poor man's wealth is in a holy Why do you fight each other? Why do you kill your brother? Then your reward will be the same tree. Your reward will be in the We got to build a better nation. Clean up job creation. Or there will be no future for you and me. The lips of the righteous, it teaches many, but fools die for want of wisdom. The rich man's wealth is in the city. Fixation of the soul is vanity. Destruction of poor people is poverty. The poor man's wealth is in a holy place. Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
If you missed it the first time, he who knows not and knows not that he knows not is a fool. Avoid him. He who knows not and knows that he knows not is a student. Teach him. He who knows and knows not that he knows is asleep. Wake him. He who knows and knows that he knows is a wise man. Follow him.
The lips of the righteous teaches many, but fools die for want of wisdom. The rich man's wealth is in the city. Fixation of the soul is vanity. Destruction of the poor is their poverty. The poor man's wealth is in a holy place. Why do you fight each other? Why do you keep... Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:15.
Tune in to Farm Talk every second and third Tuesday of each month at 6:30 a.m. for the feature Smart Farming. Smart Farming will focus on solutions for farmers such as land, animal husbandry, agronomy, and more. That's Smart Farming every second and third Tuesday at 6:30 a.m. during Farm Talk, only on Power 106 FM. Smart Farming, sponsored by Hypro.
Living in the positive.
Power Talk on Power 106 FM, finding solutions to the challenges we face in a globalized world. Power Talk, taking talk radio to another level. Join Dr. Herbert Gale on Mondays and Tuesdays and Simon Crosskill from Wednesday to Friday as they provide riveting analysis on the issues of the day and speak with stakeholders charged with driving innovation to move Jamaica forward. Tune in for innovative features designed to showcase local developments and highlight how the global issues of the 21st century are being addressed. That's the powerful pair, Dr. Herbert Gale and Simon Crosskill on Power Talk, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays, right here on Power 106 FM.
got to build a better nation. Clean up job creation. Or there will be no future for you and me. The lips of the righteous, it teaches many.
2021 to 2030 is the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, and the Decade of Action for Road Safety. It's the 19th day of the 10th month of 2021, the International Year of Peace and Trust, the International Year of Creative Economy for Sustainable Development, the International Year of Fruits and Vegetables, the International Year for the Elimination of Child Labor, and the International Year of Health and Care Workers. Put another way, it's the 19th day of the 5th month of the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season. And according to the National Meteorological Service here in Jamaica, there's a stationary front across the northern Caribbean. A stationary front, for those who are not aware, is usually formed when a cold front or warm front stops moving. And this happens when two masses of air are pushing against each other, but neither of the two is powerful enough to move the other. And then you have a situation in the midst of that where the winds blowing parallel to the front, whether cold front or warm front, instead of perpendicular, can help it stay in place. So that's the stationary front. And that's what the Met Office is telling us, that a stationary front is across the northern Caribbean. We're also learning from the Met Office that there's a tropical wave across the eastern Caribbean. And I think we've shared this one with you before, that a tropical wave in and around the Atlantic Ocean is a type of atmospheric trough. And remember the word trough in relation to weather, cloudiness, showers, thunder showers, bad weather. That's the trough. So that a tropical wave in and around the Atlantic Ocean is a type of atmospheric trough. So there's likely to be some weather activity associated with that trough, which is an elongated area of relatively low air pressure oriented north to south, which moves from east to west across the tropics. And this usually causes areas of cloudiness and thunderstorms. A little closer to home, as it was last week, so it is this week, the trough across Jamaica is expected to remain over the island for the next few days. However, on Thursday of this week, a tropical wave is expected to move across Jamaica. We can, for the rest of this afternoon into evening and tonight, expect scattered showers and thunderstorms across most parishes, and there will be lingering showers, especially across northeastern parishes tonight. We're just about in the middle of Red Cross Month, Lupus Awareness Month, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month, Oral Health Month, National Egg Month, Manufacturers Month, Correctional Services Month, Cybersecurity Month, and Domestic Violence Awareness Month. October is also Black History Month in the United Kingdom, and according to the National Library of Jamaica, October is Legal Deposit Month. And this is where the National Library of Jamaica encourages every national publisher in Jamaica to, within a month of the publication of any document which he or she publishes in Jamaica, deposit in the legal depository of the National Library the number of copies specified. October is also National Heritage Month. In fact, this week is National Heritage Week on the heels of yesterday's observance of National Heroes Day. This week is also Credit Union Week. Constitution celebrations are on in Niue. It's Samora Machel Day in Mozambique and Mother Teresa Day in Albania. Hoy es martes, el 19 de octubre 2021, y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado, porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones. Y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos. C'est mardi le 19 octobre 2021 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez, que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service par une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 10h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue.
Clean up job creation. Or there will be no future for you and me.
All we're saying is it's Tuesday, the 19th of October, 2021, and we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices, and that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome.
Fixation of the soul is vanity.
Good afternoon to those of you listening to us on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9. From Moran Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point. This is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. Hello to those tuned in via the Power 106 FM app, which you can download from the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on the nature of your device. Downloading is free, listening is free, whenever, wherever. We thank you if you've fallen into the category of those who dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM from the United States and the United Kingdom. If you're in the United States and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, your number is 631-359-9228. 8281. 631 359 8281. If you're in the United Kingdom and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, your number is 0330-606-0953, 0330-606-0953. We're streaming live video on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page and affiliated pages. If you're not there yet, log on to Facebook. In the search box atop the page, type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you too will be able to not just hear but see what's happening in the studios of Power 106 FM. We also want to acknowledge those listening via the Gleaner's website, go-jamaica.com. Subscribers to onespotmedia.com also have access to both sides of the story in particular and Power 106 FM in general. What's on your mind this afternoon? Well, let's remind you as well that you can, if you don't have a Facebook account, you can watch us on YouTube, on the Dervan Malcolm YouTube channel. How about that? Looking forward to your full participation. After all, it is your program, both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. As we said, we're looking forward to hearing from you on our call-in lines, 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, but your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes. You can call us via WhatsApp, and indeed you can make a direct call to that same WhatsApp number, which is 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. And as you know, we're all over social media: Facebook, Twitter, Skype, Instagram, LinkedIn, BBM, Yahoo Messenger, Tango, WhatsApp, Snapchat, TikTok, though we haven't checked that page in a very long time. But we're trying our best to keep up with you young people. Thank you very much for tuning in and being a part of the experience. It's been quite an experience over the last 3 or 4 days here in Jamaica, in more ways than one. On this program, we like to say that man must be protected from himself. Left to himself, man is perhaps the most destructive creature on the face of the planet. Man must be protected from himself. That's why we have constitutions. That's why we have laws, regulations, systems, processes, the judiciary, etc. Because man must be protected from himself. There's another coinage on my part, which I'll share after this break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30. Did you know that the National Irrigation Commission Limited is the sole authority for irrigation systems in Jamaica? The National Irrigation Commission Limited enables the improvement in agricultural productivity through the provision of efficient and affordable irrigation to farmers and other customers. Contact them 977-6624 or 977-6727 or visit their website www.nicjamaica.com to learn more. Irrigation, making the difference in agriculture.
Living in the positive.
Power Talk on Power 106 FM, finding solutions to the challenges we face in a globalized world. Power Talk, taking talk radio to another level. Join Dr. Herbert Gale on Mondays and Tuesdays and Simon Crosskill from Wednesday to Friday as they provide riveting analysis on the issues of the day and speak with stakeholders charged with driving innovation to move Jamaica forward. Tune in for innovative features designed to showcase local developments and highlight how the global issues of the 21st century are being addressed. That's the powerful pair, Dr. Herbert Gale and Simon Crosskill on Power Talk, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays, right here on Power 106 FM.
We got to build a better nation. Cleaner.
The other thing we love to say on this program, which we have coined, so if you're going to use it, please give credit. It says, do not allow anything or anyone to control you to the point where you lose control of yourself. Do not allow anything or anyone to control you to the point where you lose control of yourself. Like we've said, it's been a rather storied weekend in more ways than one. We have once again learned, or perhaps relearned, a couple of things about ourselves as human beings and how fragile we are, how vulnerable we are, how gullible we are, how easily led we are. Whatever is the flavor of the day, we run with it. And we are excited by it until the next flavor comes around, which is why as individuals, we must build on whatever grounding, solid grounding we have been beneficiaries of, so that when those storms come, we remain unshakable and the storms are always with us. What do we stand for? What do we believe in? And as much as we believe in a number of things, we have we want to ensure that, well, we need to remember that we still live in a real world. Whatever our beliefs and belief systems, recognize that we still live in a real world where real decisions are made in real time, and therefore we must be discerning. My late mother would say, take sleep, mark debt. Take sleep, mark debt. So it's a powerful reminder, the happenings over the weekend, a powerful reminder that man must be protected from himself. Left to himself, man is perhaps the most destructive creature on the face of the planet. And so man must remember. Man must remember, and remember well. Do not allow anything or anyone to control you to the point where you lose control of yourself. Whatever our beliefs, whatever our principles, whatever our situation, do not allow anything or anyone to control you to the point where you lose control of yourself. Because when that happens, you are no longer in charge of you. You're no longer in charge of what your hands do, where your feet go, what your lips speak. Somebody else is now in charge of you. You've become somebody else's puppet, somebody else's slave. You don't have a mind of your own. What's that quotation that the late Wilmot Perkins used to use about uh, William Shakespeare? O judgment, thou art fled to brutish beasts, and men have lost their reason. O judgment, thou art fled to brutish beasts, and men have lost their reason. How many years ago did Shakespeare introduce that quotation to the universe? And it is still relevant to this day. O judgment, thou art fled to brutish beasts. Because one of the expectations of man, in a generic way, meaning woman as well, man, one of the expectations is that man would exercise good judgment. Good judgment. Now, when judgment leaves man, or a sense of good judgment leaves man, Shakespeare says, "Oh, judgment, thou art fled to brutish beasts." So judgment is now with brutish beasts, and men have lost their reason. Lack of judgment, lack of ability to reason, to decipher, to discern. O judgment, thou art fled to brutish beasts, and men have lost their reason. We must be in charge of ourselves. We must manage ourselves. We must practice personal management on ourselves. If we are in control, if we're there's a poem in Invictus, which speaks to that sense of self-empowerment. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. William Ernest Henley, the author of Invictus. So we have the power in more ways than one. What's the name of that movie where they said the force is with you or something like that? Yes. We're supposed to have that capacity to reason, to think, to figure things out, to work things out, and recognize that we have the capacity to effectively manage ourselves. We must practice personal management. And in all of that, remember, do not allow anything or anyone to control you to the point where you lose control of yourself. Because after that, it's chaos. Chaos. And so a lot of people were in a state of shock, and perhaps still are in a state of shock, of disbelief as to what transpired at that church in St. James. Let us think on these things. We also, over the weekend, the long holiday weekend, went through a series of emotions. Started out worried, concerned, terrified with respect to the first of two little girls who were apparently abducted. And so with all of those emotions we just mentioned, then came news that the child was found and taken to hospital for examination, etc., etc. And then before we could start celebrating in that instance, then we had news of another little girl who had gone missing, who had been abducted. And so the ebb and flow of emotions, till we heard news that she too had been found alive, and as in the first instance, taken to the hospital for the appropriate checks and treatment. More than the clinical assessment, these children will need help, serious psychosocial and related interventions. We have no doubt they're getting that help. Let's take the break and come back with more in just a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45. Power Talk on Power 106 FM, finding solutions to the challenges we face in a globalized world. Power Talk, taking talk radio to another level. Join Dr. Herbert Gale on Mondays and Tuesdays and Simon Crosskett from Wednesday to Friday as they provide riveting analysis on the issues of the day and speak with stakeholders charged with driving innovation to move Jamaica forward. Tune in for innovative features designed to showcase local developments and highlight how the global issues of the 21st century are being addressed. That's the powerful pair, Dr. Herbert Gale and Simon Crosskill on Power Talk, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays, right here on Power 106 FM.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story. Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Also, over the weekend, the world lost a giant of a man, a statesman of Jamaican heritage, his parents born here in Jamaica. Colin Powell, the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and also he also served in the capacity of Secretary of State. A lot of firsts. He achieved quite a number of firsts, but he never forgot his roots. And so earlier this year, in fact, he delivered a message to a group of Caribbean people dominated by Jamaicans naturally. And we want to play that message for you right now by the late Colin Powell.
Good evening, everyone. This is General Colin Powell, and it's a great pleasure for me to be with you this evening. Dorothy, I thank you for your kind and generous introduction. And I also want to thank the Caribbean Heritage Organization for putting this evening together. It's an important evening for all of us who are here, but especially for the two women that we will be honoring in the course of the afternoon and evening. And I want to let you know, I didn't miss anything. I brought my folding chair, and it folds. Great pleasure to be with you. I want to talk about where I came from. I came out of Harlem, where I was born, and then I went on to the Bronx, where I was raised. But it started as a Jamaican background, as something my parents gave me. Both of my parents are Jamaican subjects. They came out of Jamaica in the 1920s. They got jobs here in New York City. And in New York City, they were able to make a living. And they were able to raise two children, me and my sister. My sister went on to become a very, very prominent teacher out in California. I became a soldier. I became a soldier because it's something that fit with me and something I wanted to do for the country and to serve with young people who were going into the military. It's important to understand, however, that when I became a soldier, I went into the Army with certain instructions from my family. And my mother said, my father said, you know, we want you to do your very, very best at all times. Do you understand that? We expect you to do your very, very best. Because you could get in trouble in the South Bronx. And when they were through with that, they said, but here's the most important thing. Don't do anything ever that shames the family. That was the Jamaican tradition. Never shame this family. We're proud of ourselves. We're proud of you. We're proud of the country we're now part of. We're a part of the country that we left, Jamaica. And we have to make sure that we never do anything that shames our family in any way. We count on you to hold that tradition for us. And I worked hard to do it. For the 35 years I was in the Army, the 4 years I was Secretary of State, and with all the people that I served in all those many, many years. It is very, very important for us to understand that this is an essential part of being a good citizen, being a good soldier, a good teacher, a good politician. And I'm so pleased that I'm with some significant people this evening who have followed in that same kind of tradition, that same ritual. We have Shirley Chisholm, who many, many years ago, she was a little bit ahead of me, but I was not that far behind her. But she didn't take anything from anybody. She just kept showing what she could do and how she had a model of behavior, a model of instructions, a model of doing what is right that brought her to the top of the pile. And then, of course, Most recently, we have a new vice president, Kamala Harris, and she demonstrated what it means to do your very, very best and to take advantage of the traditions you brought with you from the nations that you were a part of over the years. That's what this is all about. This evening is all about reflecting on those traditions, reflecting on what is expected of us, reflecting on the pride we have in the United States of America, but the pride we also have in the countries that our parents came from, that we came from. Me came from Jamaica, came from a wonderful country that I still love, but I love this country more than anyone else could possibly love it. The country's done everything it can for me, for the people that you are honoring tonight, and I'm so pleased that you are part of this evening and honoring these two women who are so deserving of your honor.
Listening there to the late American politician, diplomat, and retired four-star general who served as the 65th United States Secretary of State from 2001 to 2005, the first African-American Secretary of State, born on the 5th of April, 1937 in Harlem, in the New York City borough of Manhattan. Born to Jamaican immigrants, Maud Ariel, born McCoy, married Powell, and Luther Theophilus Powell. Maud Ariel, née McCoy, and Luther Theophilus Powell. His parents were both of mixed African and Scottish ancestry. Here's a musical, well, we'll hold that for the moment, but we convey condolences to the family, friends, colleagues, well-wishers of this outstanding Jamaican and a world-renowned statesman. All the best. May his soul rest in peace and light perpetual shine on his face. So yes, that was the giant of a man we lost over the weekend, Colin Powell. And as you heard in the clip we just played, which was recorded not too long ago, this year, a few months ago, where he delivered that message to the Caribbean Heritage Organization. Let's clear some of the messages right now before we continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Velta Wilson, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for tuning in. Sham White, good afternoon. Pleasure to have you on board as well. Jeannie Chambers, good afternoon. Ricardo in Glengoff, St. Catherine. Andrew Burke, good afternoon. Watching and listening from Claremont, Florida. Wishing you all the best. And the same to you and yours, Andrew Burke. Nicola in Mandeville, Manchester says, good afternoon, Dervan. To you too, Nicola. Reverend MacDonald in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada says, good afternoon. God bless your program this afternoon, my friend. Thank you, Reverend MacDonald. May Malcolm says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Good afternoon, May Malcolm. Thank you very much for tuning in. That is true, says May Malcolm. Not sure which point exactly, but thank you very much. Good afternoon, blessings, says Jacqueline Simmons. Maxine Brooks has joined us as well. Welcome, Maxine. And let's say hello to Sherry Henry. Good afternoon, Sherry Henry. Thank you for tuning in. Good to have you on board. She says, She greets yours truly and all the listeners, and she's hoping everyone had a good weekend. Inez Iona Campbell in Bridgeport, Connecticut says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and viewers. People have no love, respect, and care for their fellow citizens. We need that brotherly love." Jennifer Stewart from Kew Road in Kencott, East Central St. Andrew is greeting us as well. Good afternoon, Jennifer Stewart. And Lyria Baker says, "Hi, Mr. Malcolm." Hi, Lyria Baker. Thank you for tuning in. Didn't necessarily want to crowd this afternoon's program because there are so many nuggets coming out of this holiday weekend. And another one of them was the reminder that as Jamaicans, when it matters, we can come together. We can enjoy unity of purpose. And as we've always said on this program, when we have had discussion or talk about safety and security in this country or crime fighting, we prefer safety and security. The fact that only we are the ones, as we said the other day, we are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the only ones who can turn off that pipe of dripping blood. We are the only ones who can stop that. And we don't seem to, well, it was on show over this holiday weekend, wasn't it? Apart from those vested with the authority to act, like the security forces and the firefighters, etc., they're vested with the authority to act based on the positions they hold. But importantly, every single citizen of this country has a duty of service to this country. A duty of service to our fellow Jamaicans. When a Jamaican is in need, fellow Jamaicans reach out and help. When a Jamaican family needs our support, we take out the long benches and the chairs and we gather within that yard or on that veranda or in that household to comfort grieving families. And as we have seen over this past weekend, when the lives of our children are threatened, we respond to prevent any form of tragedy, and we respond swiftly and in a most determined way. We'll say more as time progresses. Back in a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3 o'clock. Our family and friends are a big part of who we are. And when it comes to keeping you connected to them, Grace Kennedy Money Services Western Union makes it safer and easier. Now friends and family overseas can use the Western Union app or westernunion.com to send money directly to your bank account without leaving home. Receive a Western Union money transfer directly into your bank account with a direct-to-bank service. Register online at gkmsonline.com and share your banking details with your sender so so you don't have to leave home to collect.
Power Talk on Power 106 FM, finding solutions to the challenges we face in a globalized world. Power Talk, taking talk radio to another level. Join Dr. Herbert Gale on Mondays and Tuesdays and Simon Croskill from Wednesday to Friday as they provide riveting analysis on the issues of the day and speak with stakeholders charged with driving innovation to move Jamaica forward. Tune in for innovative features designed to showcase local developments and highlight how the global issues of the 21st century are being addressed. That's the powerful pair, Dr. Herbert Gale and Simon Croskill on Power Talk, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays, right here on Power 106 FM.
We got to build a better nation. Clean up job creation.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. It's a busy time it's always a busy time, right? Because they work all through the year. They don't wait until a general election is called to start working. Absolutely not. It's their duty to help to secure the democracy of this country, the democratic process, and all that is involved in that process. And so we are anxious to learn more about the Electoral Office of Jamaica's new voter ID card distribution exercise. We want to know, for those of us who are not familiar, would perhaps need some details on what this is all about. And then we want to get a sense of what people need to know and what they need to do in order to secure their new voter ID card. Want to get a sense of how things have been going so far, how the distribution exercise has been going so far, and other useful information. After all, that's what we're into. That's our purpose here on Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, the timely and accurate dissemination of information. And so let's say good afternoon and welcome to the Director of Elections, Mr. Glasspool Brown. How are you, sir?
Hi, good afternoon. I'm okay. Good afternoon to you and your listeners.
Thank you very much. Good to have you joining us on board Both Sides of the Story here on Power 106 FM. Let's start with information for the uninitiated, those unfamiliar with this territory having to do with the electorate. What's the significance of this exercise that began on the 11th of October, 2021, a few days ago, as far as the distribution of the new voter ID cards are concerned?
The Electoral Commission of Jamaica and more so the Electoral Office of Jamaica operates under the Representation of the People's Act and the Interim Act of 2006. The Act, the RO requires, the ROPA that is, requires of us that we issue a identification card to everybody who is on the voters list. We do issue those cards with a lifespan of 10 years. The last one, the current one that is in the system, had expired from 2017. However, because of other issues, we extended the validity of those cards to December 21st this year. And therefore, we are now in the process of replacing those cards with the new cards. So in effect, the new cards that we have started issuing will be given another lifespan of 10 years. Those will be expired in December 2031.
Right. So who should be coming forward? I mean, we're supposed to know ourselves, so to speak, but who should be collecting these new cards?
All right, everybody that is on the list are required to come and get a new card. However, what we have done is to say to the persons who got their card prior to 2015 that they need now to come and apply to all the offices across the island for the renewal of those cards. The process was started in 2019, November 2019, and it continued throughout last year into this year. Last year we had some issues. The onset of the COVID pandemic impacted on our timeline. The elections of September 2020 also impacted. And therefore we are now at a stage that we are now ready to distribute the card. We have also said to the person who got their card after 2015 that they don't need to apply for a renewal of the card. What we do in those cases, in that particular case, is to automatically renew those cards based on the database that we have.
Mm-hmm. And where should people go to collect these new voter ID cards?
They can attend upon offices across the island in the 63 constituencies. A few constituencies have more than one location, so we have approximately 73 locations that are currently distributing the cards.
73, you said?
Approximately 73 locations, yes.
Mm-hmm.
At least one in every constituency.
Right. And what are the general hours during which people can collect these cards?
Our offices are open on a Monday to Thursday, 8:30 to 4 p.m., and on Fridays, 8:30 to 3 p.m. What we also sought to do, Mr. Malcolm, is that we have, in order to, given the COVID pandemic, and in order to reduce the number of persons that comes to the office on a daily basis, we have sought to issue those cards based on alphabetically based on the start of your surname. So, for example, on a Monday, it is A to E, Tuesdays on F to K, Wednesdays L to P, Thursdays Q to T, and on Fridays U to Z.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's pretty straightforward. Pretty straightforward. Now, what about? I'm accustomed to seeing elderly people who are immobile being helped into polling stations, etc. And I'm thinking, what's the plan for those who are infirmed, those unable to move about? Can a family member just go to one of the centers and say, I'm here to pick up Granny's card?
No, we won't give you or won't give anybody's card to any third party. What we will do, or what we have been doing, is that a person who is ill, infirm, incapacitated, all they need to do is indicate such to our offices, to our relatives, etc. And they will give them a form that they need to just complete that form, return it to the returning officer in the various constituencies, and the returning officer will make the necessary arrangement to come and distribute or deliver the card to the individual home.
I see. Good. And the other thing now has to do with, well, I did mention in a sense the senior citizens just now, but I'm thinking, how will they have to, whatever the length of the line is, will senior citizens have to just wait in line like everybody else?
We understand the issues that relates to the elderly. What we have done and we have put in place is that we have given instruction that as best as possible, the elderly should be assisted to get in and out of the collection centers or the office as quick as possible. So what you'll find that as soon as the elderly turns up, we will offer them some level of comfort, a seat under the tent. We'll put a number of tents in place to assist the process. And then our staff will sort of treat them in a special way to get them in and out of the office as quick as possible. So therefore, we'll cater a little bit more to the elderly than those who are not so elderly. So as to get them in and out of the office as quick as possible.
Right. And did I hear that since the start of the distribution of these cards on October 11, that some people are turning up at your offices to apply for renewal? All
right. The renewal process continues. The current card that the elector has in his or her hand expires on December 31st. Therefore, come December 31st, those cards will be of no use. And therefore, we do encourage persons to come into offices and seek to renew their card. As you are aware, the card, our ID cards have now morphed itself into the national ID card for the time being until it comes on board. So it's a national ID, and therefore, if you need to use it, you need to come into office. The good thing about it, we have seen an uptick to a certain extent since October 11. Additional persons are now coming in to apply for the renewals. So for you to get a new card, you have to apply for renewal of those cards. Again, providing your cards were issued prior to 2015. If it was issued after 2015, automatically a card would have been prepared for you, and therefore there's no need for the persons who got their card after 2015 to apply for renewal of those cards. But prior to 2015, you need to come into the office, and I urge everybody to come in as quick as possible.
So how have you been managing the numbers, considering that you have you're trying to distribute these cards and people are coming to pick up their cards, plus you have those who are coming to the offices for renewals in a time of COVID-19 and physical and social distancing, etc. How are you managing the process?
Yeah, it's very challenging to a certain extent, more so as it relates to this social distancing. However, we have started to ensure that everybody who comes to the office must have on a mask. Their temperature be taken, their hands be sanitized. As I said before, there's some amount of challenges with the adherence to the social distancing. Again, we just appeal to the public. Remember, we are in this pandemic as best as possible to try and adhere to it when you come to our offices. So we have sought to bring on a number of additional persons. We have brought on a number of temporary persons to assist us, security personnel to assist us, cleaners, attendants to assist us, etc., handymen, etc. We have brought additional staff on board and greater involvement from our ROs and our AROs to assist the process. So we have ramped up in terms of the number of staff that we have on board and to assist us in the process of distribution of the cards, and the other aspect of it, the registration that continues, the renewal applications, etc., continues, and at the same time we are now processing we are now at this final stage in processing the list that will be published in November.
I see. And what about those of us as electors coming to collect our new cards? Do we need to bring anything? Can we just turn up as we are, as my late mother would say, with our two long hands?
for to collect the new cards? If it is when the individual who have gone to the office to apply for renewal, they would have been given a receipt, a renewal receipt.
Mm-hmm.
If you have that, it's good to walk with that. If you have your old ID, you can also walk with that, which is good. If you don't have any of those tools, you can come to the offices. We have a way to identify you based on our computer system that we have in place, and it's not a problem.
Oh, good.
So if you have both, it's easier, it's more faster.
Easier for everybody.
Everybody, that's correct.
Mm-hmm. And what if I guess you have answered that, because I was going to say, what if I can't find the receipt? But you have answered that in terms of being able to identify based on your system, which is...
That's correct.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the electors are also encouraged, we're told, to visit their pickup location. That is where they indicated when they applied for renewal, or the constituency office where they wanted to collect the new card. That seems pretty straightforward. So people could have, or perhaps did, say, this is where I want to pick up my card, as opposed to that other area or...
Right. At the point of renewal, the option was given to every elector exactly where they want to pick up their card. So therefore, a person that was registered in Hanover, there's no need for him or her to go back to Hanover.
Hold on. Sorry. Tell us after the break, please. One moment. The Director of Elections is with us on both sides of the story, Glasspool Brown.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15. The Caribbean Maritime University, an ISO certified institution, offers Bachelor of Science degrees in cruise shipping, logistics, engineering, marine tourism, port management, security administration, and management, among others. For further information, contact them 876-924-8150 or 924-8175 or email info@cmu.edu.jm.
Living in the positive.
Tune in every Thursday at 11:30 a.m. to midday for your Legal Corner with Dahlia Walker Huntington during Power Talk on Power 106 FM. You can call our numbers 876-922-4112-5. The text and WhatsApp line is 876-279-8598. You can also send an email at yourlegalcorner106@gmail.com. Join Your Legal Corner for all matters in relation to immigration to the United States. Here, Dahlia offer great legal advice on your immigration queries and concerns. Learn about the filing process, when to file, and how to prepare for the move. That's Your Legal Corner, 11:30 to midday, every Thursday right here on Power 106 FM.
But fools die for want of wisdom.
The distribution of new voter ID cards started on the 11th of October and continues. The Director of Elections, Glasspool Brown, has been sharing with us as much information as possible so that we can continue to make informed decisions. You were on the subject of the pickup location. I think you were giving an example with respect to Hanover.
Right. At the point of applying for the renewal of your card, you would have indicated to the office the exact location that you want to pick up your card. So, for example, if you had originally got registered or you're on the voters list for a constituency in Hanover and you now resides or work in Kingston, there's no need for you to go back to Hanover to pick up your card. You can so indicate to the office in Kingston or wherever you go to apply for the renewal that is to send your new card to that particular location that you want to do your pickup.
That makes sense. And so that you take on that responsibility of getting it to whatever location you need to get the card to.
That's correct.
No, that's customer service. Now then, those who are listening to us and they're saying, but pickup, I don't even know where my pickup location is. Do I have to go searching physically, walking around the community or wherever else, the constituency? Or can I, are there other options open to me in finding my location, my pickup location?
Well, there are a number of options that is available. You could go to our website, www.ecj.com.jm/query and follow the instruction, and that will tell you exactly where your card is. Or you could call us on our toll-free number, 888-991-VOTE or 888-991-8683.
How many cards are you looking to distribute for this period, Mr. Brown?
On the voters list, there are roughly 1.9 million persons. We don't anticipate we're going to reach 1.9 in terms of distribution. However, so far we have printed close to 800,000 cards that are actually out there in the offices to be picked up. And we figure that the process will continue in terms of renewal, and we expect a number of additional persons to come in more so as we get closer to December 31st. So we expect to distribute in excess of 1 million plus cards.
Oh, wow. And you mentioned December 31st. You're not telegraphing that there's an election by that time? Just
No.
No, you wouldn't do that. I'm troubling you. I'm troubling you. You that's way above your pay grade.
That's correct.
Right. Absolutely. But clear. I mean, we've seen in the news
the local government is rescheduled up to February 2022.
Right. So anything is possible in that regard, and you always have to be prepared. I mean, how?
Right. The law allows the Prime Minister to so-called election anytime he so sees fit.
Yes.
So therefore, we have to be at a certain level of preparation in anticipation of that decision by the Prime Minister.
And how much better are you getting at the Electoral Office of Jamaica in terms of being nimble on your feet, being pliable? just being more efficient, etc. How far have you gone in trying to improve the efficiencies at the EOJ?
We're improving. We have over the years we have built up a reputation in terms of our efficiencies. We are relying, and I guess the world is doing that now, with greater use of technology. There are a number of new technological units that we are seeking to use going forward. So we are fairly advanced in that aspect of it. Our training, we continue to train our staff. We continue to reach out to our stakeholders and develop that sort of relationship, etc. So there are a number of things that we're doing. We're getting better as we go along. We are improving on what exists so far. Certainly, our record is there to indicate our progress over the years. Because you can recall what happened maybe 20 years ago in terms of an election, in terms of the management of the process, compared to what it is now.
Mm-hmm. Yes, no, that's true. That is true. In fact, we have a lot to be proud of when it comes to our democracy. The fact that we've transitions from one government to another. Not many countries, not least among them third countries, can actually say that. So that,
if you recall the 2016 election, the winning party won by only one seat.
Absolutely. And that in some other countries that maybe would have triggered literally and figuratively all kinds of things. Right. No. So with that's having been said, do you have a program where you go into the schools just to create a level of awareness with respect to civic duty and the democracy, etc.? Because it seems to me that would make for and should make for a more aware and informed electorate, or future electorate in the case of the children.
That is in place. We started it some time ago. Certainly the COVID in 2019 into 2020 and continues impacted on it. We had set up an arrangement with I think it was the Social Studies Teachers Association, in terms of inviting them to Duke Street to carry them to certain the sixth form people, carry them to the process and having these seminars with these students. We want to reactivate that as soon as the issue of the COVID pandemic allows us to.
For those of us who perhaps have been for years saying ID because we don't want mix up in any politics, whatever. And for whatever reason, they've come to a point now where they say, you know what? I'm going to get my card because I want to experience what it is like to vote. How are you dealing with those in this? Is the time up for them in terms of getting on the list?
The process of registration continues. We operate on a continuous registration system.
Good.
The next list is due to be published shortly. For you to be on that list, you'd have to have got registered up to the end of September. But therefore, that for the November list, the registration for that phase is now complete. For you to get, so the next list will publish next year. So we publish twice per year, every 6 months. The registration process is now open. You need to get on at least you're 18 and over and want to be a part of the process or want to be on the voters registry. You can now visit our offices across the island again and complete the process. But you won't be on the next list that we'll publish in November. You'll be on the next list in 2022, which is due in June 2022.
And one thing that didn't miss me, you mentioned it in just a regular way earlier on, something about this national ID and with NIDS set to come on stream. What are the implications for the voters' ID as far as NIDS is concerned? As far as you're aware.
As I said earlier on, our card, by law, it is supposed to be to allow you, the main purpose is for voting.
Mm-hmm.
but it has morphed itself into a national ID. So therefore, we are currently functioning in that role as the national ID for Jamaica. Mostly because of the wide distribution of those cards, and it's one of those cards that is free. The other ID that you normally use as a national ID would be your vote, your driver's license, or your passport. Both of them comes with at a cost.
True.
Ours are free, and therefore it just has morphed itself as a national ID. And NIS now is supposed to be the national ID when it comes on. We figure it might impact in terms of the use of our card as a national ID, but until ROPA is amended, our cards still remain relevant. It is a requirement of ROPA that everybody who is on the voters list is to be issued with a voter's ID card.
I see. So some legislative work will have to take place where that is concerned. Now, how has it been going? What kind of feedback, what kind of response have you been getting from the electorate as far as the collection of or picking up of these ID cards is concerned?
So far, and the main positive, I think the main concern is the length of time that some persons have to wait. Because we again bear in mind that we do operate in a sort of plaza environment. There's limited amount of space in terms of us to manage our processes.
True.
And bear in mind also that we've been doing a number of things at the same time. Issuing cards, we are doing renewals, we are doing registration, we are doing work in terms of completing the work to publish the next list, which is due shortly. So there are a number of things that we're doing. I think people. So the main concern is it relates mainly to the length of time that some persons have to wait, and we do appeal and do apologize for persons. Is in terms of the time that it takes sometimes. And to bear with us a little bit. You're not gonna get a card within a minute, but if you so there's some amount of wait, which we have to try as best as possible to let the wait as comfortable as possible in terms of providing whatever coverage is possible in terms of on the elements, on the sun, etc., and to provide some level of seating, and I think some level of liquid is also provided for you. So that has been a main concern. Apart from that, the response and the acceptance of the card has been fairly good.
And for those who are saying, well, with or without the card, I still can vote because they cannot just identify me in the system. Why is it important to have the card itself?
Yeah, the card itself allows you the process to move a little bit faster on election day. Okay. So it's good for you to have your card. So that come election day, the process can be much faster and for the time being it remains one of those accepted national ID card.
Yeah. Okay. And as we wrap, for those who would like to get more information, what's the website again?
It's ecj.com.j, ec.jamaica.com. /query, and that will give you all the information that you need as relates to your ID card.
And well, I guess
you can talk to us on using our toll-free numbers. 888-991-VOTE.
That's easy to remember. 888-991-VOTE.
Right, of course.
Wonderful.
We're also on social media, EC Jamaica.
EC Jamaica on all of them. Is Facebook, Twitter,
on all
Instagram,
on all our social media.
Very good. Hold on, I'm seeing. I thought this. Let me see if this is related. Can you? Oh no, it's a different matter. Different matter. Just one of the questions that popped up on screen just now, but that has to do with MP and roads in a particular community. Well, thank you very much, as usual, Glasspool Brown. You speak clearly, as usual, and when you speak, all of us understand, and we get it. We get it. Well done, and thank you very much, and all the best as the distribution continues. And if you have to come back here to tell people, hurry up and go pick up your cards again, we'll be happy to provide the time.
No problem. Thank you for accommodating me.
Sure, anytime. Take care.
Okay.
Bye bye. The Director of Elections, Glasspool Brown.
You contribute directly to Jamaica's national development when you pay your customs duties. Let's all do our part in keeping the wheels of our economy turning. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
3:30.
Power Talk on Power 106 FM, finding solutions to the challenges we face in a globalized world. Power Talk, taking talk radio to another level. Join Dr. Herbert Gale on Mondays and Tuesdays and Simon Crosskill from Wednesday to Friday as they provide riveting analysis on the issues of the day and speak with stakeholders charged with driving innovation to move Jamaica forward. Tune in for innovative features designed to showcase local developments and highlight how the global issues of the 21st century are being addressed. That's the powerful pair, Dr. Herbert Gale and Simon Crosskill on Power Talk, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays, right here on Power 106 FM.
The lips of the righteous teaches many, but fools die for want of wisdom. The rich man's wealth is in the city.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, the story of Jamaicans at home and abroad. There's something we wanted to touch on a little later on. We did mention the late Colin Powell earlier on, more than mention. And we want to pick up on that point, which has to do with vaccination, because there are people, unfortunately, on social media and elsewhere, drawing all kinds of conclusions without knowing the facts, and we'll clear that up when we get an opportunity, perhaps after this interview, because JN Group is doing what we know JN Group always does, which is to demonstrate why they are called Jamaica National. JN, they, in other words, their umbilical cord is inextricably linked to Jamaica, and because they are Jamaica National, or if you want to shorten it to just JN, they have to be Jamaican, which is playing your part, as our national pledge says, in advancing the welfare of the whole human race. But of course, passing Christian and Picnic Fuss. And so we deal with what needs to be done here, even as we assist elsewhere. And JN continues to do and to demonstrate a level of commitment to Jamaica. Take, for example, this reward or rewarding of 600 people who immunize against COVID-19. And once again, let's remind ourselves, you could say immunize, vaccinate, and what's the other one? Immunize, vaccinate, or inoculate. Right, same thing. Immunize, vaccinate, inoculate. So the JN Group, as I understand it, you know what? Let me just stop the talking and let's hear from the lady who knows all about how JN continues to play its part in advancing the welfare of the whole human race. Of course, dancing a yard before dancing abroad, and then being able to do both. The general manager of the JN Foundation is Claudine Allen. Good afternoon, Claudine Allen. Good to talk with you again. How are you?
Well, I am well. I am vaccinated and happy to share a wonderful day with my colleagues and with the rest of Jamaica.
Well, since you greeted us in that way, good afternoon. Yeah, and I am going to get my second dose tomorrow.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Congrats. Welcome to the club.
Thank you very much. Right. So then, what's the thinking? What's the idea? What's the approach being taken here by JN Group with respect to immunization, vaccination, inoculation?
We have been, like the rest of Jamaica, watching this issue really closely. And as a corporate entity with several companies across the group, we have a workforce of about 2,400 or so persons.
So I didn't realize there were so many. 2,400. Wow.
Just about. So, a global entity, a global health pandemic is a big thing for us. So we've been watching it for our staff members and amongst our customer base, encouraging people to get good information and to make the best decision for them based on their own unique circumstances. And even as we did that and we focused inwards, we sought to engage with staff members to dispel some of the myths and answer some questions that you'd be surprised, cause hesitancy among people about the origins of the vaccine, its impact on reproductive health, how to make a decision if you are managing a chronic disease, and things like that, where people were still a little bit unsure. As we experienced that with our own network, we realized that we had to make an effort to clarify and to provide information generally. And we saw where the government really was making an effort as well, and we feel that where this initiative is concerned, all hands need to be on deck. So we jumped in the ring, and we are facilitating dialogue about the virus and also about the vaccine. We are talking with the ministry about how we can help get the vaccine to more people, and we are also rewarding people who have taken the step to become vaccinated or immunized.
So you've been doing this since when?
We launched this campaign formally in October, but internal to the organization, we have been engaging with our member base and with our staff members. We've had discussions about the virus. As a matter of fact, as far back as last year when it first became a major problem, we began to talk about how to thrive.
Yes, I remember that series, yes.
Yes, we began to share sanitizers with frontline workers and help communities to prepare their firemen and nurses to battle the virus. We began as far back as then. But where vaccination push and immunization push is concerned, we started this October 1, and we should run for the next 90 days.
All right. So now let's get down to the granular level. For those listening to us now, maybe they're just tuning in and they're saying, "What? JN rewarding people? Do I have to have an account with JN in order to benefit from this rewards program?"
No, we would love if you did. We would love if you were a member, but no. All you need to do is to get vaccinated. Go to the JN Foundation website. There is a link on our homepage to the immunization page. Or
Hold on, slow down. Let me see if I can do it with you now, right here. So go to the JN website, you said?
JN Foundation.
I beg your pardon.
JNFoundation.com.
Foundation.com.
And you should see the Immunize Save Lives banner. From there, you can go to the form. It's on your left.
It's just taking a little time to load here. I'm sure it will come up any moment now. Yes, knowing JN, it has all the bells and whistles. There we go. Right, it's up now. So where do I go now, having come to jnfoundation.com?
Right. So now you're on the landing page. That page has lots of information there. It tells you where you can get immunized. So it has a list of the government sites, and it takes you to the Ministry of Health map for immunization sites and locations. It also has information about the reward for immunization. And when you click on that, you can upload the picture of your immunization card, front and back, and you will be entered into a lottery where 200 people every month will be awarded $2,500, and they will get it on a GIN money transfer card that they can use at the supermarket or go to an ATM and get the funds.
And this is not one of those instances where I can get multiple chances, right? Or opportunities.
No, one time, one reward.
One job. And
One
that's
job.
it. One
Yes.
job will do the job.
Yeah, so over the 3-month period of the campaign, we'll be giving away a total of 1.5 million. But we wanted to reach as many people as we could to, just to encourage people to go out and to save their own lives.
And on that note, normally when people hear of these promotions, they think, well, it's necessarily confined to the corporate area.
Oh no. Anybody can do it. In fact, we've gotten some entries already from Westmoreland.
Good.
So Jamaicans, wherever they are in Jamaica, can enter, and we did it using our website to make it a little bit easier. So you don't need to go into a JN branch. You just do it from home. You enter your name, your email, and your photo, and that's it.
Just like that.
That's it.
And then now the other thing now is with respect to those who are they're perhaps thinking that I wonder if I could encourage. I'm sure you would encourage this anyway, but to encourage more people to say, hey, here's an opportunity to not just get vaccinated, but get the opportunity to get some money in your pocket as well. Is there maybe not? But I was asking if there's any
a referral.
Yes,
we should think
any
about
acknowledgement of that.
Yeah, we should think about putting in a component for that. So if you successfully referred 20 people, you could get dinner on us or something like that. We can think about that.
Because I know as a group you have done that before for different brands, like not yes, because there are those who feels it knows it in a good way.
Yeah, but Dervan, it's been very interesting, this initiative that we started, because there's so many misconceptions and uncertainties. Even the choice of the word immunize, some people did not associate this vaccine for COVID-19 with similar vaccination exercises that we have experienced as children. Simply because we used the word immunize and not vaccinate, and whether the technical definitions are exactly the same or not. What we wanted to do was to do something relatable.
Absolutely. In fact, I was reading that the words vaccine and vaccination were coined in 1798. A man by the name of Edward Jenner, and regarded as an English country doctor. And well, another time we share the rest of the story, maybe when we're through. Don't want to take up too much more of your time. Let's just take the break and come back with more in just a moment. Listeners, if you're just tuning in, this is Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Our special guest is Claudine Allen. She's the general manager of JN Foundation, and their generosity knows no bounds. We'll reinforce exactly what they're doing after the break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45. Power Talk on Power 106 FM, finding solutions to the challenges we face in a globalized world. Power Talk, taking talk radio to another level. Join Dr. Herbert Gale on Mondays and Tuesdays and Simon Crosskill from Wednesday to Friday as they provide riveting analysis on the issues of the day and speak with stakeholders charged with driving innovation to move Jamaica forward. Tune in for innovative features designed to showcase local developments and highlight how the global issues of the 21st century are being addressed. That's the powerful pair, Dr. Herbert Gale and Simon Crosskill on Power Talk, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays, right here on Power 106 FM.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And our very special guest is Claudine Allen. She's General Manager of the JN Foundation, and she has been telling us about the Jamaica National Group's Immunize, Save Lives campaign, and in particular, this initiative where starting from October to December, 200 people will be randomly selected each month and rewarded with $2,500. Now, if you have a JN money card sent from abroad, yes, that's the commercial, one of them. Right. If you have your JN money card, the money will be deposited on that card, so you won't have to. You get the convenience of it, right? Now, but if you don't have a JN money card, remind us, Claudine Allen, how we can fix that.
Well, we'll simply get you a card.
Okay.
So when you're entering, you will provide us, in essence, everything that you will need to get a card. Your name, address, we'll ask for your TRN number as well, and your age, and that information is what gets you the card. So the form asks if you have one. If you say yes, we won't prepare it. But if you don't, we'll just put it together for you. You pick it up at the nearest JN location, and then you use a card the same way you use an ATM card.
And how many people, are you able to say how many people have won so far?
We have not announced yet. We started October 1. So by the end of the month, we'll have our first cohort of winners. Oh,
yes. So you're doing it precisely at the very end of the month.
Right.
And the same will apply to November and December.
That's right.
All right. And it's a good, it's a good time. It's a good time for that because it's been another rough year in more ways than one. We're grateful, those of us who are still here, very grateful, and we give thanks. And those of us who have done what we need to do, we say more power to you. Outside of that, there are those who still need some convincing and some coaxing and some encouraging, to some amount of encouragement to say, hey, this is in all our interests. It's if you do what you're supposed to do and I do what I'm supposed to do, then we'll get closer to that time. But this is the amazing thing, Claudine Allen. Everybody wants to get back to what they call normal. You want to get back to doing this and doing that. But sadly, there are some of us who are not prepared to do what needs to be done so that we can get a little closer to that time when we can breathe a collective sigh of relief. And this is where initiatives like what the JN Foundation is doing, this COVID-19 immunization campaign, is needed. What are you able to say? The general, well, you said at the end of the month, so maybe you're not looking at the numbers right now, but just generally interest, if even not numbers but interest.
Interest has been good.
Mhm.
We have sent out some emails to our network telling them about the opportunity. And we've gotten a mix of feedback. There are people who said, only $2,500. It
Well,
should be
let's see.
$25,000.
And my late mother would say, "You give anybody anything to put on?" I'm kidding, but yeah, no,
But
but
yeah,
Mhm.
there've been good feedback. Our members have always been very engaging,
Mhm.
even on social media as well. People have spoken about the value of the award, and people have been grateful for the initiative. Just a show of generosity,
Mhm.
based on the Jane Foundation. Just giving this away.
Yeah.
But for us, what the interest that we are trying to capitalize on is the probing questions that people still have about this.
Right. Well,
And
go ahead and talk on that some more about that, because it's clear you want to. Yes, it's good to give a little money here on the JN Money card, but you are keen on ensuring that you too play your part at JN, within the JN group, in creating a greater level of awareness and public education, and just helping people to dispel some of the myths. So go ahead and take it away in that regard, please.
that's right. So what we have done as a part of the campaign is to put in place a three-part series. This is dialogue now where we can talk about these myths
Mm-hmm.
and about the vaccine as well.
Yeah.
And every Wednesday, starting tomorrow, at 6:30, we're going to have a special Jane Circle Life class, where Kamala McWinney, who is a certified psychologist, is going to host guests who can talk from a medical perspective as well as a social perspective about COVID-19 and about the vaccine.
Mhm.
Tomorrow, we have as our guest Cordell Scatterborrell, who many of
Oh,
us
he
know
had his
from the.
experience. Yeah, sorry.
That's right,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
he had his experience with the virus, and his perspective on the vaccine also changed. And we also have Dr. Princeton Brown, who is a member of the COVID-19 specialist team, out of the ministry, and they will talk with us about the vaccine as well as about the virus. We have an oncologist who will be joining us as well, and we have Janelle Barnaby and Sherry Chin. They are going to talk to us about COVID-19, the vaccine, and cancer.
Mm.
This being Breast Cancer Month. And one of the
Yes.
questions we get, Dervan, is people say, but if I have a compromised immune system, much like Colin Powell had a
Yes.
compromised immune system, is vaccination a good idea? And all the discussions we've seen so far from credible sources has been yes.
Mm-hmm.
Similar advice to women who are pregnant. If I am pregnant, should I be immunized? And the short answer is yes. So we have the medical personnel who will join us tomorrow to talk about it. Next Wednesday, we are going to talk about the vaccine and reproductive health. So we have reproductive health in terms of male and females. We have a urologist joining us. We're going to have an OBGYN joining us next Wednesday as well. And we also have a conversation coming up where we are going to explore how we treat vaccine hesitancy at home in our relationships, where we have a family and, daddy is pro-vaccine, but mommy not so sure. How do mommy and daddy navigate that experience and save the relationship? We don't want it dividing families.
Yes.
So we will also have conversations like that.
No, that's key. That's key. You're hitting all the right notes, Claudine Allen. We're not surprised. That's what you do at JN Group. That's quite clear. All right. So as we get ready to wrap, let's be clear now. We're always conscious of the fact that people are joining us at different times. So for those just joining us, we've been speaking with Claudine Allen. She is the general manager of the JN Foundation, and she has been sharing with us the details of how JN Group is looking to reward 600 people who immunize against COVID, but also very keen in ensuring that uh, as a group, and in this case as a foundation within the group, that they play a part in public awareness and just helping to stimulate the kinds of discussions which are relevant to the time. And the first, is it the first of such discussions tomorrow, Wednesday?
Tomorrow, Wednesday at 6:30 in the evening.
How do we get on to listen?
You go to myjaincircle.com to register for the series. You can register for one or for all three sessions at the same time.
Good.
And of course, the foundation site also has the information.
Right. So if we forget any other information, listeners, that you've heard so far, remember JN Foundation, because that's where you can get even all the information that you need, essentially. JN Foundation. Right. So now I want to, never mind those who calling our money little bit of money. I want to, as someone, and listeners, we should never take it for granted. What is a little bit of money for you is a jackpot for somebody else. Seriously.
That's correct.
Right? So just let's recognize that. So you who are listening to us, who would like to get your hand on a 2,500, you can pick up a couple of items. As much as prices have gone up, etc., you can still pick up a few items with 2,005. There are those people who believe that if they get enough credit, then they'll be able to call auntie or cousin or friend in the US, for example, and ask them to send the money through JN money transfer, etc. So the point is, you will find use for it. I mean, who turns down money or throws away money, especially in this day and age? No. Every mickle make a muckle. Every little counts. Every little makes a difference. So for those who want to try to see if they can be among the 600 people to get $2,500, what do I need to do in order to get that money? And also to benefit from the other offerings, like the session that is coming up tomorrow evening at 6:30, I think you said?
That's correct.
Yes.
Tomorrow and the other two Wednesdays at 6:30. So the first thing you do, go out, get immunized. That's the first thing. And then you go to the Jane Foundation website. That's www.janefoundation.com. In the banner on our site, on that homepage, you will see the Immunize Save Lives banner. You click on Learn More and everything will unfold for you. You will get access to an immunization tracker, facts about immunization and about the virus. You will get information about how to apply for the 2,500 to get into that jackpot. And you can also see where we will be with our immunization lists as we partner with the ministry, government of Jamaica, and we will also be partnering with the American Friends of Jamaica as well.
Excellent. Well, look, we're grateful for the opportunity to share with our listeners at home and abroad the work that JN Foundation is doing and playing its part in helping us to fight COVID-19 in more ways than one. We salute you and your team, Claudine Allen at JN Foundation, and by extension, JN Group. Well done.
Thank you so much, Dervan, and thank you for always being supportive of our initiatives and our efforts to really make sure that as Jamaicans, we thrive together. And as a corporate entity, we truly and sincerely put people first.
Every time. Thanks a lot. All the best. Claudine Allen, the General Manager of JN Foundation.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock.
Power Talk on Power 106 FM, finding solutions to the challenges we face in a globalized world. Power Talk, taking talk radio to another level. Join Dr. Herbert Gale on Mondays and Tuesdays and Simon Croskell from Wednesday to Friday as they provide riveting analysis on the issues of the day and speak with stakeholders charged with driving innovation to move Jamaica forward. Tune in for innovative features designed to showcase local developments and highlight how the global issues of the 21st century are being addressed. That's the powerful pair, Dr. Herbert Gale and Simon Croskell on Power Talk, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays, right here on Power 106 FM.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. ¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 4:02. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4 de 现在地点了10:02分. 2 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Live on your smart devices all over the world. Earlier on, we hinted that we wanted to share some information with respect to the late Colin Powell. And there's a story that we read out of Washington, D.C., Yahoo News, Washington, D.C., that makes it clear that death doesn't contradict efficacy of coronavirus. Death doesn't contradict, as in Colin Powell's death, does not contradict efficacy of coronavirus vaccines. Those are the words of Alexander Nazarian, senior White House correspondent in Washington. And that's obviously that story had to be put out in light of the likely discussions, debates that would follow such a scenario. In fact, when the story was first reported, what was highlighted was that Colin Powell was fully vaccinated. Now, it's very easy for people to just run with that, to say, see it, me tell you no, because that's what some of us do. So this vaccine expert, the vaccine experts are saying, make it clear, Colin Powell's death doesn't contradict the efficacy of coronavirus vaccines. And again, the word efficacy there just means the doing what it's supposed to do. So there's no contradiction there, is what the vaccine experts are making clear. Because from the very outset, the point was made that in this instance, we're going to come back to another piece of this, but in this instance, Colin Powell's death was due to complications related to COVID-19. We have heard from the very outset that uh, and for some people it would have been the maybe the first time that they were hearing the term of us having what are called comorbidities or pre-existing conditions or underlying or complicating health issues. We've been hearing about that from the start, haven't we? So here's some more information on this subject. Unvaccinated people are 11 times more likely to die than those who have been vaccinated against COVID-19. That's the information published by Yahoo News out of Washington, D.C. The writer is Alexander Nazaryan, Nazaryan, senior White House correspondent. Unvaccinated people are 11 times more likely to die than those who have been vaccinated against COVID-19. Department of Health and Human Services Advisor Ian Sams, I-A-N, Sams, S-A-M-S, on Twitter said, "Please don't let the death of an American icon," in reference to Colin Powell, "become fodder for anti-vax forces that are putting untold millions in danger." And then he goes on to say, "Vaccines work. They prevent bad outcomes. They, like all vaccines, are not 100%, especially among older people with underlying complicating health issues." So here's the story now. Crucially, and crucial to any discussion surrounding Colin Powell's death, is that Colin Powell, and this is the thing with a lot of us as individuals, we don't know until we know other individuals' health situations. We see them, we hear them, they're hale and hearty, and then something happens and we say, see it, COVID again, or see it, vaccination again, or vaccine again, until we are told, if we choose to accept the information, that hold on there, here's the full story. So crucially, Colin Powell suffered from a blood cancer known as multiple myeloma. Sadly, Colin Powell suffered from a blood cancer known as multiple myeloma, M-Y-E-L-O-M-A, multiple myeloma. Precisely the kind of immunocompromised condition that experts have said from the very outset could lead to lower vaccine efficacy. In fact, the vaccines seemed to work especially poorly in patients afflicted with that type of cancer. So there is evidence that the vaccines seemed to work especially poorly in patients afflicted with that type of cancer, even after a booster shot. Even after a booster shot. In addition to that, Colin Powell also suffered from Parkinson's disease, which is described as a neurodegenerative condition. When you hear neuro, think brain. Neurodegenerative, so sort of pretty much breaking down the brain, falling apart. Neurodegenerative, something deteriorating, getting worse. And some additional information to the late Colin Powell's wife, now widow, Alma. She had also reportedly contracted the coronavirus. That's the report from news correspondent David Martin, part of the Yahoo news team, that Colin Powell's wife Alma had also reportedly contracted the coronavirus. And this is what David Martin reported. He said General Powell's wife Alma also had a breakthrough case. And you know what is a breakthrough case? If having been vaccinated, you if you contract COVID-19. So that's regarded as a breakthrough case. So that General Powell's wife Alma also had a breakthrough case, but in other words, she was fully vaccinated, like her husband, fully vaccinated, but she still caught COVID-19. Remember, none of those vaccines, when the information was first published, and to this day, none of them has ever said you get 100% protection. None of them. So after having been fully vaccinated, General Powell's wife Alma had a breakthrough case, and that's how they refer to instances where someone who is fully vaccinated contracts COVID-19. But this is the difference between her and her husband, that her immune system, her immune response, aided by the vaccine, gave her, she was able to fight off the COVID-19 illness successfully. A combination of the state of her immune system and being fully vaccinated. So it boils down, just like we've always known, every individual is different. We don't share the same fingerprints. Everybody is different. Every individual is different. We have different immune systems. And how our immune systems respond to vaccines, for example, is a function of the state of our immune system. And so let's move on. Medical professionals insist that worries about breakthrough deaths are unfounded and are being exaggerated by some media reports. Worries about breakthrough deaths, meaning those who are fully vaccinated, who then catch COVID-19 and subsequently die. Medical professionals insist that worries about breakthrough deaths are unfounded and are being exaggerated by some media reports. The news reports in saying that General Powell was vaccinated should also mention that he had multiple myeloma, the story says. Centers for Disease Control, CDC, which is based in Atlanta. Let's take the break and come back.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15.
Power Talk on Power 106 FM, finding solutions to the challenges we face in a globalized world. Power Talk, taking talk radio to another level. Join Dr. Herbert Gale on Mondays and Tuesdays and Simon Croskell from Wednesday to Friday as they provide riveting analysis on the issues of the day and speak with stakeholders charged with driving innovation to move Jamaica forward. Tune in for innovative features designed to showcase local developments and highlight how the global issues of the 21st century are being addressed. That's the powerful pair, Dr. Herbert Gale and Simon Croskell on Power Talk, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays, right here on Power 106 FM.
Que ahora es en español, son las 4:16. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:16. 现在 TDN 4 DN 10 了分. 16 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? If not, now is a good time. Good afternoon to all the schoolers listening to us, all the students from the early childhood level to the secondary level. Trust you had a productive day of learning today. Hope you also managed to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable, education makes you trainable, training makes you employable, and the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. And let's continue. Let's just finish up the information we have been sharing. Centers for Disease Control, CDC, and Prevention, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, in Atlanta, Georgia, says almost 190 people in the United States have been fully vaccinated against the coronavirus. Of those 190 million people, 1,074 of them under the age of 65 have died from COVID-19. So almost 190 million people in the United States have been fully vaccinated against the coronavirus. Of that number, 1,074 under the age of 65 have died from COVID-19. There have been 6,104 COVID-19 deaths of people 65 or older who had been vaccinated. They're really just putting in its proper context this situation. That's essentially what they're doing with the information. Almost 190 million people in the United States have been fully vaccinated against the coronavirus. Of those people, 1,074 were under the age of 65. They died from COVID-19. 1,074 under the age of 65. There have been 6,104 COVID-19 deaths of people 65 or older who had been vaccinated. There have been 6,104 COVID-19 deaths of people 65 or older who had been vaccinated. Among the breakthrough COVID-19 deaths tracked by the CDC were 951 people who did not show symptoms of COVID-19 and appeared to have died from another cause. Again, among the breakthrough COVID-19 deaths tracked by the Centers for Disease Control based in Atlanta, Georgia, were 951 people who did not show symptoms of COVID-19 and appeared to have died from other causes. Now, more people are set to receive booster shots in the coming weeks and months, as federal regulators are expected to approve shots for recipients of the Moderna and Johnson & Johnson vaccines. And again, the words vaccine and vaccination are 223 years old. Yes, the words vaccine and vaccination are 223 years old. 223 years ago, an English country doctor by the name of Edward Jenner, who lived from 1749 to 1823, Edward Jenner was what happened when he scientifically investigated the idea that exposing humans to cowpox, which was a mild disease found in cows, could protect against smallpox, a more serious disease affecting humans. That let's take it a step further. Where is it? Right. So the word vaccination was coined by the English doctor Edward Jenner, Jenner, in the 1790s, 1798 to be precise, 223 years ago, when he scientifically investigated the idea that exposing humans to cowpox, a mild disease found in cows, could protect against smallpox, a more serious disease affecting humans. So Dr. Jenner named this treatment vaccination, from the Latin word vacca, meaning cow. In fact, there's also the Spanish vaca, which means cow as well. And Christopher Columbus had named that a section in Old Harbor, around Old Harbor Bay, as Bahia de Vaca, Cow Bay. That was what he called it. But I digressed. Let's get back on track. So what's the difference between vaccination and immunization? Vaccination is the process of receiving a vaccine. Immunization is what happens in your body afterwards. And what happens in your body? Well, your immune system learns to fight whatever the pathogen is, so that it can identify and successfully resist infection in the future. So the vaccine, the immunization, when you receive the vaccine, immunization is what happens in your body. So the vaccine says to the parts of your body, yo, you have a brother there on the place, him a go on bad, you know. And I'm saying, what him look like? And the vaccine holds up a photograph to say, this is what this dangerous person looks like, this wanted person, right? You see, if him come and him goes, and this is how you must deal with him. And everybody say, oh, yeah, man, me get it. So we just do that and, all right, watch me and him. And so now, if and when this thing enters the body, this virus, then the body will remember what the thing looked like and the appropriate response to the virus, right? So, and I did use the word pathogen earlier on. Vaccination protects us against these so-called pathogens, which are disease-causing biological agents like viruses, bacteria, fungi, and parasites. So these things, and sometimes they're very, very, very small, but they can be very deadly, very dangerous, very dangerous. So let's go back to, as we said, vaccine and vaccinated. We were giving you the origins, and as we said, the word has been around. Those words have been around for 223 years at least, right? But we're so that between. Wanted to give you an idea of how this was dealt with back then. How was it handled back then? Let's see if we can get the story for you. Right, so Edward Jenner, who hailed from Gloucestershire, England, in the late 18th century, while making his rounds, Edward Jenner made a stunning observation. Milkmaids infected with cowpox, which manifested itself as a series of pustules on the hands and forearms. Now, we hope we're not losing you in terms of the words, but essentially, with respect to, and it might seem odd to some people, a milkmaid, and it's pretty archaic now. They're no longer, we're no longer there. But a milkmaid is a girl or a woman who milks cows or does other work in a dairy. A milkmaid, a woman who milks cows or does other work in a dairy. So milkmaids, these are people, real people, infected with cowpox. This is an observation that Edward Jenner made, that milkmaids, the women and girls who were milking cows, they when they were infected with cowpox, when they got infected with cowpox, the cowpox manifested itself. It presented, as the doctors would say, it presented with these small blisters or pimples on the skin, which contain pus, and everybody knows pus, right? You squeeze the thing and the pus come out of it. Yeah. So that the milkmaids infected with cowpox, and the cowpox manifested itself as a series of pustules, which are small blisters or pimples on the skin containing pus. Usually it presented itself basically on the hands and forearms. That these milkmaids were immune to the smallpox epidemics that regularly attacked the residents of his parish. Many different animal species have their own pox virus. Hence, smallpox, variola virus for humans, cowpox for cows, and so on. Smallpox for humans, cowpox for cows, etc. Legend has it that Edward Jenner, first heard of this phenomenon in the late 1770s from a Bristol milkmaid who boasted, "I shall never have smallpox, for I have had cowpox. I shall never have any ugly pock-marked face." Jenner made history in 1796 when he gave a patient what became known as the first vaccinia vaccine. The first vaccinia vaccine. a vaccine made from the cowpox virus. More in a moment.
Destruction.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30. Waiting on your receivables. Waiting to purchase raw materials to fulfill your next order. Waiting to get paid for goods already sold. 60 days, 90 days, invoices way past due. What if you could be insured for up to 85% of your domestic and foreign receivables? So that if you don't get paid on time, your biggest priority, your business, will not have to wait. Trade credit insurance. Insurance worth having. Credit without waiting. Exim Bank. By helping businesses, we save lives and livelihoods.
Tune in every Thursday at 11:30 a.m. to midday for your Legal Corner with Dahlia Walker Huntington during Power Talk on Power 106 FM. You can call our numbers 876-922-4112-5. The text and WhatsApp line is 876-279-8598. You can also send an email at yourlegalcorner106@gmail.com. Join Your Legal Corner for all matters in relation to immigration to the United States. Here Dahlia offer great legal advice on your immigration queries and concerns. Learn about the filing process, when to file, and how to prepare for the move. That's Your Legal Corner, 11:30 to midday, every Thursday right here on Power 106 FM.
Que hora es en espagnol? Son las 5:28. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5:28. Sienzai, TDN le. Wu Dien Cha Ar Shur Ba Fen. 28 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Do you know where your children are? Do you know where your children are? First time ever we have repeated that question 3 times. And that has something to do with what we experienced over this holiday weekend, just before just at the start of the holiday weekend. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. It's always a good time to check up on the children. Right, so quickly, we're just sharing a bit of history here in terms of where the words vaccine and vaccination came from, that they were coined back in 1798, 223 years ago, by the English country doctor Edward Jenner. Edward Jenner made history in 1796 when he gave a patient what became known as the first vaccinia vaccine, that is, a vaccine made from the cowpox virus. Now, we hope you won't find it too much at this time, but what the doctor did was to take pus, P-U-S, pus, from the cowpox lesions. The lesions referred to the condition of the particular area, the region or whatever in terms of the damage through the disease. So the doctor took pus from the cowpox lesions on a milkmaid's hands and introduced that fluid into a cut that he made in the arm of an 8-year-old boy named James Phipps. You see where we're coming from? This is where we're coming from. Jenner, Edward Jenner, the doctor, took pus from the cowpox lesions on a milkmaid's hands and then introduced that fluid into a cut that he made in the arm of an 8-year-old boy named James Phipps. 6 weeks later, Dr. Jenner, exposed the boy to smallpox. But the youngster, Master Phipps, James Phipps, did not develop the infection. So 6 weeks later, Dr. Jenner exposed the boy to smallpox, but the boy did not develop the infection. He didn't develop the infection then or on 20 subsequent exposures to the dreaded disease. Indeed, he grew up. Yes, the 8-year-old boy grew up. He later married, had 2 children, and lived long enough to attend Edward Jenner's funeral in 1823. Edward Jenner lived from 1749 to 1823. And Phipps died at the age of 65. So between 1796 and 1798, Edward Jenner collected 23 cases of people infected or inoculated with cowpox virus. In a 1798 report, Inquiry into the Causes and Effects of the Variolae vaccinae, a disease discovered in some of the western counties of England, which Jenner published at his own expense, he concluded that the cowpox protects the human constitution. Remember, in Jamaica, old-time people used to talk about your constitution. You have bad constitution or good constitution in reference to the body. Well, that's where the term. That's how long the term has been in use. In the late 1790s, so that Edward Jenner concluded that the cowpox protects the human constitution from the infection. In other words, the human immune system from the infection of smallpox. It was a groundbreaking conclusion that set the fields of immunology, vaccine therapy, and preventive health in motion. Before Jenner developed his method, many doctors immunized patients against smallpox by means of variolation. That's the controlled transfer of pus from one person's active smallpox lesion to another person's arm using subcutaneously or usually subcutaneously with a lancet. And that's one of the tools used by a surgeon, I believe. The beauty of Jenner's newer method of vaccinating with the cowpox virus was that it was not only effective, it also had far fewer side effects and was so much safer. This was between 1796 and 1798, 220 to 223 years ago. So the history there is quite something. But let us pause to say happy birthday to 2 more people born in the best month of the year. Our veteran program assistant on duty, Davin Thomas, and our very, very well politically educated superb engineer. No, Richie Flowers knows his stuff. He's very good. He's excellent, actually. Richard Flowers is having a birthday today, and of course Davin Thomas. So Richard Flowers and Davin Thomas are members of our technical team celebrating a birthday today. So I don't know if they're going to do what did we see on TV some years ago? Dr. Omar Davies, was it? And Edward Siaga. I think they share. Is that birthday? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, and they were actually sharing the cake. I remember that. So you're going to be sharing the cake with Davin. Yeah. So enjoy the rest of your birthday. Obviously, the birthday has been spent here at work. because that's the lot that some of us have chosen, and such is the territory. So I don't know if I'll get a piece of the cake, because between Richie and Davin, that could be finished in no time. In seconds, says Richie. Yes. And listeners, remember that Richie Flowers also has the distinction of delivering a baby. Was it one child? That's what I was trying to remember. Twins. So you can't talk to Richie now, because man have under him belt that him deliver twins, and it made the news too. You can Google it, listeners, and you'll see the story. You'll see the story. But that is how dynamic the team here at Power 106 is. We deliver babies. We deliver food. Well, enjoy and continue to enjoy the birthday, and all the very best. All right. So I don't know. Hopefully I get a piece of the cake or a bit of the crumbs by the time Davin and Flowers finish that. Great. So let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Here's a call on our WhatsApp line, which is also our text line, and a straight line to this side of the glass. Let's see who is online. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon. Yeah. Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. How are you doing?
I'm giving thanks for life, and you?
I'm okay. I mentioned about Mr. Sia gone Mama Davis' birthday. They both share the same birthday. I share the same birthday with them.
Oh, there you go. So you, right. Because I do remember that picture. What I remembered was the picture in the paper of them. I think they were both feeding each other cake. Yeah.
Yeah, they bought a 20 to me. They bought a 20 to me too.
I see.
And I listened to you making something saying about Mr. Powell's death and
No, that's not what you heard. What you listened to
you mentioned about
was me. Hold on. You listened to me sharing a story from Yahoo News, Washington, D.C., written by Alexander Nazarian, Nazaryan, senior White House correspondent. Yes.
Okay.
That's what I was sharing the information from. The earlier information.
That.
Right.
But people is a little bit skeptic about the vaccine thing. And if it have nothing to do with the person's death, when they're mentioning about the death, I don't think they should mention about the vaccine, because why I say that, some people
but
opinions,
if they don't, then you'll knock them for not being transparent, for not putting all the information. What they've clearly done is to put everything out there. So they put the fact that he was fully vaccinated out there. They put the fact that he had multiple myeloma out there. They put the fact that he also had suffered from Parkinson's disease out there.
Yeah, but it's when people start to get delicate, like those who scared of the vaccine start come up with their opinion, and they start to get it straight out and say, this is what the problem is.
No, I'm sorry. Right? I didn't get what you just said.
When people start saying, like, for those who have their wrong idea about the vaccine, start saying, see, I'm telling you, I didn't take it him this and him that, because that's what people are saying. But that's what they try to get.
Yeah, people. My late mother would say, mouth make for say anything. It turn crossways, so it make for say anything. People will always talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. But the facts are clear.
Well, the post I tell you yesterday, when I learned of his death and I go to work last night, there's a Jamaican guy there. There's nothing I can tell him to convince him.
Which is,
my opinion said
which is fine.
And
Which is fine. People are free to hold whatever position they want to hold. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45. The Caribbean Maritime University, an ISO certified institution, offers Bachelor of Science degrees in cruise shipping, logistics, engineering, marine tourism, port management, security administration, and management, among others. For further information, contact them 876-924-8150 or 924-875 or email info@cmu.edu.jm.
Introducing the North American Branded Content Edition, a monthly online publication with news, deals, lifestyle tips, and so much more from Jamaica, the USA, and Canada. Visit go-jamaica.com/NA Gleaner Branded Edition or the jamaica-gleaner.com website to see the most current copy. Be in the know right from your home. The Gleaner, where life unfolds.
Tune in every Thursday at 11:30 a.m. to midday for your legal corner with Dahlia Walker Huntington during Power Talk on Power 106 FM. You can call our numbers 876-922-4112-5. The text and WhatsApp line is 876-279-8598. You can also send an email at yourlegalcorner106@gmail.com. Join Your Legal Corner for all matters in relation to immigration to the United States. Here, Dahlia offer great legal advice on your immigration queries and concerns. Learn about the filing process, when to file, and how to prepare for the move. That's Your Legal Corner, 11:30 to midday, every Thursday, right here on Power 106 FM.
Destruction of the poor is their poverty. The poor man's wealth is in a...
Que hora es en espagnol? Son las 5:13. Quelle heure est-il en français? Il est 5:13. 现在地点了5点加13分. 13 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Anne, Jamaica. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned into both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time for us to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive? Thanks for holding. Please continue.
Yeah, I listen many talk show, and I hear this is a frequent question them ask, saying people are scared to take the vaccine, but when they go to doctor give you a pill, they don't know what pill, but they take it. But I think that is a crazy question them ask.
That's a what?
Because if you take,
That's a what?
They're saying people go to doctor and doctor give them pill to take, and they don't want to make it, but then take it, but they don't want to take the vaccine. But my thing is, if you take something, or somebody close you take something where doctor give, and they give him anything to go against his health or make him feel any way unusual, you're not going to take it. Am I right?
I'm not getting you. Sorry.
All right. Say you have a cold, and you go to the doctor and give you a Panadol, and the Panadol make you feel worse or make you get any unusual feelings. And me have a cold, and they might recommend the same thing to me. You think me going to take it?
Yeah, well, on the face of it, it would be your decision whether you want to feel some of that pain or not. Although what you wouldn't be taking into account is that everybody's immune system is different. So two people can take the same thing and have totally different reactions. In fact, one might have little or no side effects at all. People some would take it and they're fine. Others might take it and they're not so fine. It doesn't necessarily mean something is wrong with the medication, but it's a factor of how the body, again, it comes back to your immune system. What is the state of your immune system? How that immune system responds to this foreign matter entering the body.
Yeah, but at the same time, Mr. Malaka, people have this tendency, once them say it giving a side effect to other people, it drive fear of them.
Yeah, well, it's really up to them. It's neither here nor there, quite frankly.
But I see some talk show hosts, especially, I thought in Jamaica, I listen to Jamaica station in my daytime. It's like they are beating down people, telling them to go and take it. They must leave the people to their opinion. Am I right?
Yeah, well, we always say on this program that people are free to do whatever they want to do. People are free to be whatever they want to be, as long as that freedom does not infringe on another person's freedom. So if people want to listen to a particular source of disinformation or misinformation and sing that song, just beware others who don't wish to contaminate their mind with the misinformation and the disinformation. So it all boils down to the individual's level of awareness and exposure to factual information to make a decision. But with or without that, it boils down to what the individual does. It always boils down to what each individual does.
All right, one last thing before I go. And the next thing I hear them asking, when people migrating and you go have to take that injection or flu shot or whatever, people take it because they want to go to foreign. So I understand that. But I never hear,
Go ahead.
Yeah, I never hear of anybody migrating and taking those things and carry any side effect. So that's a completely different thing you're talking.
No, man, you're mixing up things there.
No, I heard them saying, and many talk show. I won't call people name because I don't like it. Saying when people are going to foreign.
No.
The people are migrating.
Yeah, they have to do medical. Everybody has to do a medical at some point or another.
But what they're trying to convince some of the listeners, when you go migrate and you have to go and take that injection or shots or whatever they give, people take it because they want to go to foreign.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Many years. Yeah, but what they're trying to say, they take it because they want to go. But what they're not telling people, I never heard of anybody take it and carry any side effect when they migrate.
There's no, trust me, there's no story there, as they say in the newsroom or wherever. Let's move on. Thank you for the call.
All right, boy.
All the best. There's no magic there. Don't worry about it. I mean, sometimes I know, careful that we don't overthink. It is what it is. It is.
When I hear them saying those things, just want to know. When I hear them saying those things, it come my mind. To me, that makes sense.
Yeah, well, you see, but this is what I'm saying. So you have to know to sift, or as my late mother would say, pick sense out of nonsense, or just you have to apply your sense of apply some discernment and try and just let go of some of those things. You're carrying a lot of people's baggage. You talk a lot about people and people and people.
They're trying to convince you to take it, but I think they're not doing the right way.
No, well, if you're talking about that, by all means, everybody else needs to be schooled by Jacinda Ardern, the Prime Minister of New Zealand. She seems to have found a formula that works. On Saturday, they set a goal in New Zealand to inoculate to vaccinate 100,000 people, and you know what happened? They got multiples. They got multiples of that. Hold on. Let's see if we can bring up that story. On Saturday morning, we got that news. Vaccination. When was this now? This was Saturday. They made a big thing about it. They called it Super Saturday in New Zealand. And I don't want to give you the wrong figure in terms of the number of people, but the goal was to immunize 100,000 people. And I believe they got, was it 160,000? But I'm just making the point that it's a function of who is the person carrying the information, and the credibility of those who are transmitting the information, and the culture of the country. Here's the story. Is this it? New Zealand dispenses record number of jabs. New Zealand healthcare workers administered a record number of vaccine jabs Saturday as the nation held a festival aimed at getting more people inoculated against the coronavirus. So they had a festival, they had an event. They created a festival. It was on TV for 8 hours. Musicians, sports stars, celebrities pitched in for what was called a Vaxathon event, broadcast on TV and online for 8 hours straight. By late afternoon, remember their target was 100,000. By late afternoon, more than 120,000 people had gotten shots, eclipsing the daily record of 93,000, which was set in August. The event stretched well into the evening. It was like a throwback to TV fundraising telethon that from the 70s, 90s. And Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, who chatted with motorists at a drive-through vaccination center in Wellington, initially set a target of 100,000 jabs for the day, but she upped that to 150,000 after the first target was met. She also set a target of 25,000 shots for indigenous Maori, whose vaccination numbers had been lagging and who had been hit hard by the latest outbreak. They went a step further. National carrier Air New Zealand converted a Boeing 787 Dreamliner plane into a vaccination clinic for the day, issuing people boarding passes for flight NZ Vax or NZ Vax, New Zealand vaccination. And it went on and on. And New Zealand has so far used only one vaccine, the Pfizer vaccine. That's the vaccine they've been using in New Zealand. Before the Vaxathon, about 72% of New Zealanders had received at least one dose, and 54% were fully vaccinated. Among those aged 12 and over, the proportion was 83% and 62% respectively. So it can be done. That's what Jacinda Ardern has demonstrated with her leadership in New Zealand. It can be done. You can get your people to respond positively to vaccination. No, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you're still there, but we're out of time. Check your clock. We have to go for news. Sorry about that. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Tuesday, the 19th of October, 2021. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on, nor all your piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible.
Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's news at 5.
Good afternoon, I am Dervan Gordon. Coming up in the news segment of Beyond the Headlines today, Tuesday, October 19, 2021. Members of a religious cult in Montego Bay said to be cooperating with investigators probing Sunday's deadly incident. Police High Command orders high-level probe into major human trafficking ring in western Jamaica. Crime Stop report for the island's public schools record a low number of passes in this year's sitting of CSEC math exam. In business news, Jamaica Producers acquires 50% stake in Ice and Water Company in Dominican Republic. The discussion segment of Beyond the Headlines with Dion Jackson Miller comes up after this newscast. The news segment of Beyond the Headlines is brought to you by Flow.
I am Elaine Thompson here.
Details of the news on Radio Jamaica 94 FM and online at radiojamaica94fm.com. The majority of the 40 congregants on Pathways International Kingdom Restoration Ministries of Montego Bay St. James, who were detained following Sunday's deadly incident, have been released after being charged under the Disaster Risk Management Act. The 30 women and 10 men, including the leader of the church, were charged